Okay, for this tutorial I'm going to show you some tips on making the golf tee game. So I'm going to do a couple of things assuming that you already know how to do it, and then I'm going to give you my tips and tricks. So I'm going to hit Start 2D Sketch and make my base. Alright, so I'm doing it quick because I know you know how to make a base, you know how to dimension it and all of that. I'm going to hit Finish Sketch, extrude it. Okay. So now I want to start my sketch of my triangle on the top of my base. So I'm going to hit Start 2D Sketch. Now, before I do this, do not use the hole feature. Alright? The hole feature is the lazy man's way of doing it. We're going to use it later. Before you can do it, you have to tell Inventor exactly where you want the holes to go. So I'm going to hit Start 2D Sketch, and I'm going to click on the top here. Alright, and then I'm going to draw a triangle. Alright, then I'm going to draw lines in the triangle where the holes are going to go. So that would be for my my 4 holes, my 3 holes, my 2 holes, and then my 1 goes on the top. Alright, this is just kind of placeholders for those points. The reason I do this is I want to make sure my points are on a straight line. Alright, so I'm going to start out by just putting a point at every line intersection. So anywhere lines are intersecting, I'm going to place a point. Then I know my bottom line needs 5 points, so I'm just going to place them randomly. So I have 5 total now. This should have 4, 3, 2, and 1. So I'm good to go. Now I'm going to come up to dimension, and I know how far apart my holes need to be. So I'm going to click on each of the 2 points. I'm going to click on this one and this one and tell it how far apart to be. I'm not sure why my triangle went all the way over there, but we'll show you how to fix that in a little bit. Oh, I know why. I said 0.75 instead of 0.75. So make sure your number is good, that you remember your decimal, and that's much better. We'll do that for each of, gotta hit dimension again, 0.75. Each of the points needs to be 0.75 apart from each other. Do not try to dimension diagonally. It doesn't work as well as you want it to. Alright. You'll notice your triangle starts to go kind of funny because it's spacing itself out correctly. That's what you want it to do. That's why we do it in a with the triangle lines and all that, because then you make sure that they're exactly where you want them to be. Alright, and so now I know that I have an equilateral triangle, that all my points are 0.75 apart from each other. Oops. Alright, and so now I need to make sure I dimension it to where I want it to be inside this, inside my square. So I did this because I want to see, okay, I'm at 2.3, 2.4, so I want it to be 1.2. Oh, that's interesting, and 1.2. Okay. Then I'm going to do from here to here. I just want to see what they're at so that I can center it. So that looks like it's 2. So I'm going to make each of them 1. Okay. And so now I know it's in the center. Just making sure here. I'm just clicking on this little point here and then the side and accept. And so this is about 5, so I need this to be 2.5 to make sure it's in the middle, to make sure everything is straight and even, and the triangle really is equilateral. If you're not sure if it's equilateral, there's always this equal button up here, and you can click on the lines to make them equal, just of the outside edges of their triangle. But because I dimensioned it like I did, I know it's in the middle, and I know that it's equilateral and straight because everything's evened up. All right, and everything's blue, and so that's how you know everything's where it's supposed to go. So then what I want to do is I'm going to actually delete these lines now that everything's where it's supposed to be. So right-click and hit cancel, and then we'll right-click on each line and hit delete because I don't need those lines. The only reason I put them in there was to make sure my points were straight. And so now I know my points are straight, exactly where they're supposed to be, so I can delete that. All right, so now I'm going to hit Finish Sketch. And now I can use my hole feature. So I'm going to click Hole. Mine automatically puts it there. Make sure, right now, my points are going all the way through. If yours says through all, guaranteed your holes are going all the way through it. I don't want it to go all the way through, so I need to switch this to distance, and I need to tell it how far in to go. Okay, I also need to tell it the diameter of the circle. All right, I know 0.25, 1/4 of an inch isn't right, and so I'm going to leave it there just to make you look at your paper. I'm going to hit OK. And that is the Golf 2 game. Some tips and tricks for getting it to exactly where you want it to go. You don't have to put yours in the middle. I was choosing to do that. You could put it anywhere you want it on the top. I don't have a requirement for that. So then the next thing you have to do is you have to save it. All right. Either save it in Documents if you don't have a flash drive, so you go to Libraries and then Documents, and then make a new folder for yourself with this button here. Or save it to your flash drive and you can make a new folder if you'd like to. I'm going to save mine to the desktop because I'm not planning on saving it after this video. I'm planning on throwing it away. So then next, I'm going up to the eye. I'm going to click New, PLTW Drawing. It's going to ask you some questions. Answer those. And then hit OK. Now you're going to go to Base. And now if you notice, I'm not seeing the top. All you need for this PLTW drawing is the top where the holes are. So I'm going to switch my orientation to top. There are my holes. Doesn't matter if they're sideways like this or not. It's kind of up to your preference what you want to do. So I'm going to do that. Then I'm going to come up to Annotate up here at the top on the ribbon. And then in the middle, there's this little plus sign. When you hover over it, it says Center Mark. You want to click on that. And then you want to click on the center of each of your points. So you'll have a green dot. And click. It puts a little plus sign there. It's going to help you when you use this to guide the drill. That's the reason we're doing this drawing, is that you're going to know where to place your drill. Alright, so now I've got all my holes marked. I'm ready to go to the eye and click Export PDF. Alright, save it. Now you want to make sure that it prints out in landscape. You want this to be a 1:1 scale, because what you're going to do with this is you're going to cut this square out and you're going to tape it right on the block so that you know exactly where your holes are supposed to go, so that they're even, they're spaced correctly and all of that stuff. So to print it out correctly, if you open it in Adobe, doesn't have Firefox, it opens in Adobe, you can go ahead and print it. Print icon, make sure the printer says HP Universal Printing, PCL6, and then hit OK, and then print. Mine is in Firefox. I think most of yours are going to be in Firefox, so I want to show you how to make sure it's going to be the correct orientation. So you're going to come up to the top right to these three little lines, and you're going to go to Print. It's going to open Print Preview, and right up here you can see whether it's going to be landscape or portrait. You want it to be landscape. I'm not sure why it's got 2 pages there. Okay, see there's like portrait. It's not going to print that as a full scale thing. Alright, so here's it would be, see how it's stretched out? It's because I scaled it to 100%. If you do landscape and scale it to 100%, it fits the way it's supposed to. Well, yeah. Alright, make sure it says 100% for the scale. Make sure it says landscape. I'm not sure why it's printing so big. And then you're going to hit print. Make sure it says HP Universal Printing PCL6. If you don't use this, it won't print, or it'll take forever to print. You hit OK. Something's going to come up here. You can go ahead and hit print, and then you can go get it and see me about how to use our drill press. All right.